The House of Guerlain. I thought that would be an appropriate title for this video. Guerlain is my favorite house. They are my favorite fragrance house, and I thought it was about time that I made a little video explaining exactly why they're my favorite house. But a little history. There was a guy named Pierre Francois Guerlain in 1828 that loved fragrances, and he loved to create fragrances and make fragrances for people. So he bought a little tiny shop in Paris, and he started doing just that. He started making perfumes, and his business started growing because people realized what great fragrances he made. And from word of mouth, he started getting more clients and more clientele, and a lot of the people that went to him were well-to-do people, rich people, royalty. As a matter of fact, one of his first creations was a custom fragrance he designed and created for the wife of French Emperor Napoleon III. Um, that is how Eau de Cologne Imperial got created. Um, so Guerlain is getting close to 200 years old, and Guerlain started in a little tiny shop in Paris in 1828, and they have grown into an empire. Um, I asked a question in one of the fragrance Facebook groups a few months ago about um, how would you classify Guerlain, and a lot of people classified them as different things, and I thought about the question myself, and I don't think they're niche. I don't think they're independent. I think they are an empire. I think they are an institution. I consider them to be the godfather of all other fragrance houses. Um, my very, very first purchase of a Guerlain, I fell in love with. I knew right then. I heard about Guerlain 3 years ago, so I decided just to order one, and I didn't know which fragrances were which. I just seen this online, and I bought it, and I knew instantly this was probably going to be a very, very special house, and it turned out to be. The very first Guerlain that I got was Habit Rouge L'Eau Eau de Toilette. I got this about 2.5 years ago, and this was my very first Guerlain. And ever since then, I've accumulated probably, I haven't counted in a while, but I know I have at least 20 Guerlain fragrances, um, probably more. Total of all my fragrances, I have probably 250 plus fragrances, but I have more Guerlain fragrances than from any other house. So I probably got over 20 Guerlain fragrances, and this was the very first one, Habit Rouge L'Eau. And of course, I had to get Shalimar. I got Shalimar. This was launched and created in 1925. And I have, of course, Heritage by Guerlain. I'm not going to show all my Guerlains, um, just a few that mean a lot to me. This is Habit Rouge Eau de Toilette. And I, of course, have Guerlain Vetiver, which is one of the most beautiful vetiver fragrances ever created. And I have L'Instant Guerlain Eau de Toilette. So I actually have quite a few, and of course I have this. This is one of my favorite Guerlains, L'Homme Ideal, the original Eau de Toilette. Um, but I wrote down a list of why Guerlain is my favorite house by far. And I took a little time and thought about it last night, and I wrote a few things down. One of the things is um, the the legacy and the heritage of Guerlain. He opened up his first shop in 1828, and he started off with just a couple people as his clients, and it turned into an empire almost 200 years later. Um, so that's one reason. Another reason is consistency. Ever since he first opened up his shop in 1828, Guerlain has been producing consistently great perfumes and fragrances all this time. I have over 20 Guerlain fragrances, and I do not have one Guerlain fragrances that is even close to being something that I do not like. I think all of them are excellent fragrances. Um, Another is quality. That sort of goes into, uh, I've never had a bad Guerlain in my life, not even close to it. I love every single one. So consistency and quality is there, and it's always been there, I believe, since 200 years ago. Another reason that I love them is the variety. They have so much of a variety of perfumes and fragrances. They have something for everyone. I love their like classic men's masculine fragrances, like L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Toilette. This is such a beautiful masculine gentleman fragrance, and so is Habit Rouge Eau de Toilette. They've always produced top of the line women's perfumes, including Shalimar and Jicky, of course, back in the day. So they have something for everybody, and they have never sold out, I don't think. They have produced more modern fragrances that would appeal to the general public, like this L'Homme Ideal Eau de Toilette. But they've never ever sold out. As far as I know, they've never sold out. They've been true to the Guerlain legacy of making the best fragrances in the entire world. Um, so that's just a few reasons why Guerlain is my favorite fragrance house of all time, is because basically they're the best. They've been around for a very long time, and they've always been on top. They've set the bar extremely high as far as quality and everything else. Quality, consistency, variety, everything. The bar has been set very high, and I don't think a lot of fragrance houses could compete with Guerlain, in my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about them because I have talked about them in some of my previous reviews and stuff, but I've never made a video specifically just about Guerlain. Um, but let me know if you have any Guerlain fragrances and which is your favorite, or tell me what your favorite house is. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will be back with something else later. See ya.